What you're going to look for when you open up the box is going to be your drill template, and you're going to line this up on the center line of your bow roller coming in. So what we're going to do is you're going to drill your hole saw, you're going to drill your 2 mounting screws, and then your wire screws here. So this is your drill template. And then you're going to have your solenoid, your rocker switch, and your breaker switch, your protection for your current protection. This is also going to be your gasket. After you've drilled, you're going to put this in place, and this is what's going to seal the water around the base of the windlass. So this thing's a little heavy. I think it's around 32, 33 pounds shipped. So this is the ProFish 1000. You can tell the difference on the ProFish because it's got this special gypsy here. Very nicely, highly polished. Okay, so now that we've unboxed the ProFish 1000, I just want to go over if the situation arises that you need to change this from a 5/16 chain wheel to a 1/4 inch chain wheel. This is going to be the process of how to do that. So again, the purpose of this video is to show you how to change the chain wheel in case you want that option to go with the 1/4 inch chain wheel. So both the 1000 and 700, the chain wheels are interchangeable, and basically the housings are all the same, and it's just a matter of the power of the motor. So that's the ProFish Pro Series, both 700 and 1000. So there's really 4 models, but there's just some variance in the motor power and the chain wheel. So we're going to start off with removing the jam bolt. The jam bolt is at the end here, and I'll show you what you're going to need is a 5/16. I'm sorry, it's going to be a 5/16 Allen bolt, and you're just going to basically break this free and remove. The first process is removing your jam bolt. The next thing is you're going to take your clutch handle and remove this and pull it, and basically unthreading itself from the main shaft. Okay, you can see this gypsy cap actually incorporates the clutch within it, as you can see. So there are other windlasses, the Pro Series model, the clutch bearing is incorporated, is independent. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn this thing on its side, keep this thing from scratching, move it over. We're going to take these Allen bolts out, and it's going to take the ramp and the guard off with it. So all right, take these off, your guard, and and the cap screws. So the next step is to remove the rope stripper, which you need to just basically slide off of this guide and that's going to be the rope stripper. Put it up like that because it does go on one way, and then we'll be able to have the chance to take off this chain wheel. Now notice a lot of people, I've done it in the past, is I've tried to put this on this way. Well, this is not meant that way. That's why it has a taper to one side, and so it only goes on one way. So taking this, we're going to check the numbers here. You're going to see the numbers, and then the number I'll show you down in the description. This is going to be two numbers. One's going to be for 1/4 inch, and one's going to be for 5/16, both high test chain. That's the most popular here in the US. They do have the European metric system that they use over there, but here we're using the high test G4 chain. So getting that, this one here is the 5/16, and if we had the 1/4 inch, basically I would replace it and we're going to assemble it. So consider this is 1/4 inch. We're going to put this back on. Now before we put it on, we're going to take some white lithium grease and coat the clutches, and this is a good maintenance to do once a year. It's just put some grease on the clutch, right on the tapered clutch. So this is going to slide on, and we're going to do the same thing on the cone clutch cap, or the gypsy cap. So we're going to take the same thing. We're going to just light grease on this tapered side, and then we're going to thread it on. The threads on the outside are to engage and disengage the clutch, and the ones that are bored into the center are going to be for your jam bolt. So after threading this down, actually, I'm going to take this off real quick because it is a little easier to put the hardware back on. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that rope stripper back on, and slide it in over this slot. So you see how it's fitted for that. Then we're going to put the ramp on, and it actually has a little recess in here, so you fit those on, and then we'll put the guard on. This is the guard that keeps anything from going in and putting the making sure that the rope stays within the wheel. So this is done a little bit easier with the gypsy cap off. Now if you're working on the boat, it's going to be a tough situation, but here in our workshop, we're just going to thread these on. Now be very careful. Stainless steel galls, and you don't want to do that. In this situation, we don't put any there's a little bit of light grease on there to keep it from galling. You could put Never Seas on there, and that'll work too. So now this ramp and the guard are on, and this is, like I said, this is kind of in a free fall mode, but once we put this clutch cap on, as it tapers, as it rests on the clutch, now you'll see that this thing kind of tightens up the clutch on the chain wheel. So putting this back on, same thing, put a little bit of grease, or on this one I usually put a little blue Loctite on the threads here. We're not going to do this for this because we're going to be taking this again apart, but on this one we put blue Loctite just so that it's a jam nut. And okay, so now we just kind of put this a little, you can actually hear the motor turn over, but that's ready to go now. With the blue Loctite, it ain't gonna go anywhere. So we're going to do the same thing. Check these bolts here, just a little snug on both on the ramp. And there it goes. So now you're ready to go. We'll clean this up real quick for you. Then we're going to show you how to engage and disengage the free fall model to a manual power down model. When this is in a free fall mode, this little pin is going to be exposed. What's going to happen is, as it turns, it's going to hit the back side of this thing, disengaging this gypsy cap away from the clutch, from the cone clutches that are on the base of this chain wheel. So when it disengages, it's actually, when you're powering and you push the button down, this chain wheel is going to start to back off, and this bolt is actually your stop. So what's going to happen is, when it gets to the, when it stops, this is going to be free falling. So your chain, your anchor and your rope and chain are going to be deployed, and now it's going to go into free fall mode. Once you've let the scope out required to the depth that you're anchoring in, then all of a sudden you can push your rocker switch back up, and then it's going to start to wind itself back in till it engages the clutch and starts to pick up your rope and chain. So that's how this mechanical freefall system works. So once, a lot of people are calling me saying, hey, the system's broken, but it's not. It's because it hasn't threaded itself all the way out. So what we need to do is make sure on the bottom here there's a little ramp, and once it's cleared that ramp, it's able to go back and engage again, and then start to sandwich this clutch and engage the chain wheel. So once that chain wheel starts to pull up, then it'll start to retrieve your rope and chain and anchor. So that's how the 1000 ProFish works. The Pro Series, which is the manual or power down mode, that has what they call a tri-nut, and it's basically a little handle here that you use manually to loosen and tighten up the clutch pressure, and that's how that's what the differences on these two are. These are the new Gen 3 windlasses from Lewmar. You can identify them by this foam gasket, which has kind of cured some of the problems on Gen 1 and Gen 2 from water intrusion. So when you get one, this is, you know, you've got the latest and greatest here. So the one thing we recommend is not using this to at anchorage. What we do is we recommend taking that rope, cleating it off, making sure you're relieving the pressure of that constant jarring on the bow of the boat in some 2 to 3, 4 foot seas. So make sure you do that. It's going to save the life of your windlass, and just use this to pull your anchor up, not to hold your boat at anchorage, okay? Please comment in the bottom with any questions, and please consider subscribing. Click on the link below that has a little bell, and it'll get you a notification every time we go send up a new video to YouTube. So thank you again. Have any questions, please comment below. Have a great day.